Andrea Giles, and you're listening to the Heal from Infidelity podcast, episode number 57, Wants and Needs. Hello, and welcome to the Heal from Infidelity podcast, where courageous women learn not only to heal from their spouse's betrayal, but to become the boldest, truest, most decisive, and confident versions of themselves ever. If you know there's more for you than the life you're currently living, but don't quite know how to get there, you are in the right place. Stick around to learn how to create a life that will knock your own socks off. Is it possible? It is, and I'm here to show you how. I'm your host, Andrea Giles. Are you ready? Let's dive in. Hello, everybody. I hope this episode finds you well. This is episode number 57. I hope that you are continuing to learn from this podcast, that it challenges you, that it helps you remember how amazing you are and how much power you have to change things in your life that are not working for you. So today we're talking all about wants and needs, okay? And you've heard me talk before about wanting. I talk about it quite a bit, actually. But today I'm going to go into more detail about the difference between wants and needs, because we mix them up a lot and it makes all the difference in our life experience. So I'm going to dive into that, okay? So we live in a culture that is all about handing someone else our wants and needs and expecting that they'll come through for us. That's really the way that we're taught, like to think about the things that we want and then go tell somebody like we're handing them our order and then expecting that they will do these things for us, right? And it's kind of an entitled way of thinking, but it's very much how many of us were trained and raised, and the messages that we see in society and in social media, all of it is that it's all about me and making sure that I have everything met. And often we put that burden on our romantic relationships, that is the place where this person should be all of these things for us. And I'm going to talk today in more detail about why this gets us in trouble and what to do about it. Okay. Now let's talk about the actual difference between wants and needs. We often interchange these words as if they're the same, but they're actually not. And when we don't know the difference, we often set ourselves up for disappointment, right? So like, I need him to do this at the house. I need him to do this for me. I need him to take me on a date this often. I need him to tell me that he loves me this many times a day. I need him to tell me that I'm beautiful. Now, here's the thing. You don't actually need him to do those things. You want him to, and that's okay. Okay. It's okay that you want those things. Okay. So first, let's look at actual needs and get clear on what they are. Okay. First, physical needs. According to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, we have basic needs, psychological needs, and self-fulfillment needs. Okay. So I want you to imagine a triangle. At the base of the triangle, those are where the basic needs are found. Physical, basic needs. Without these needs met, the rest don't really matter. So you can probably imagine what some of these things are. We have to eat. We have to have food. We have to have water. We have to have warmth. We have to have rest. We have to have safety and security, shelter, right? We need a place to be physically safe, okay? Now, when those needs are met, we move up the triangle. We move to psychological needs. We need intimate relationships. We need friends. We need feelings of accomplishment, knowing that we matter. Okay. Next up, at the top of the triangle, self-fulfillment needs. Self-fulfillment needs are creativity, achieving one's own potential. This is called self-actualization. What self-actualization means is stepping more fully into who you are. I personally really love that need. I love that it's even named as a need. It means that a human need is to continue to grow and become more of who we are. We all come here with amazing gifts and talents, and this self-fulfillment piece of this hierarchy of needs is where we step more fully into the person that we are and let those parts of us shine that maybe we have dimmed or forgotten or muted. Okay. This is a very important piece. So those are the things that we actually need. Okay. Okay. Now let's look at the wants. We might want them to tell us all the time how wonderful we are. We might want them to do all the things that we want them to do and be everything we want them to be. We might want them to be interested in growing and healing and changing the way that we are. We might have like a prescription for us of what that looks like reading books, listening to podcasts, things like that, hiring a coach, hiring a therapist. And our partner or spouse might not want that. Okay. And that can become problematic when we look at what we make it mean. So, first of all, what are wants and how important are they? So, like I said earlier, you hear me talk all the time about wants. It's really, really important. I've done whole podcast episodes about honoring our wants. I believe that having our needs met helps us to survive, but having our wants met helps us to thrive. And I know me personally, I don't want to just survive. I want to thrive. I don't want to just get by, right? I don't want to just get by. We each have individual needs and we each have individual wants. But the question for you is, whose job is it to meet those? One of the things that you've heard me teach is that learning to meet our own needs and not delegating them out can help empower us, right? It gives us self-sufficiency, that we're not waiting on somebody else. But I want to go a little deeper on that. One of the issues we see in our culture is this culture of instant gratification. I want it now. I want it and I want it now. Almost like the moment it crosses your mind, you must have it. As I was writing my notes out for this, I was thinking about a pregnancy craving. And I can say, I woke up at 2 a.m. this morning and just really wanted a peach. So I got up in the middle of the night and I went and ate a peach. I wanted a peach, darn it, I'm going to go eat one. So I did. For whatever reason, peaches have been something that I've had cravings for. So random, right? But it's like that. I must have it now. I must have it. Okay. Now, the kind of wanting that I'm talking about comes from a much deeper place. Okay. That kind of want that I just described about wanting the peach, it's more impulsive, right? I don't really need it. I don't really need it. And if I would have just waited and stayed in bed, nothing would have happened, right? It's not a big deal. That's coming from that lower, more impulsive part of our brain. Okay. Some of those wants. It reminds me kind of you've heard people say, I want a pony, kind of making fun of little kids who just want it all, want it now. I want a pony. It's kind of that kind of thing. It can sound a little entitled sometimes. And those things are coming from that lower part of our brain. Okay. Now, the kind of wanting I'm talking about comes not from that lower impulsive part of your brain, but from your higher, highly intellectual brain. And guess what? It doesn't even have to make perfect sense. Okay. It doesn't have to make sense to anybody but you. All that matters is that you know what you want and that you like your reasons for wanting it. And you're the only person in the whole world who has to like your reason, right? You don't have to convince anybody else. You don't have to talk anybody else into it. So here's something that I've probably mentioned before, but that's really, really important to me. And it's become more important to me as I've gotten older. I've mentioned before how much I love the ocean. There's really nowhere on this earth where I feel more peace, where I feel more grounded, where I feel more just love. I just love being there. I love how beautiful and peaceful and the smells and all of it. I just feel the most at home at the ocean. And I live in Montana. Montana is landlocked. We have no ocean. We're pretty far from the ocean. And I have communicated to my husband, I've said it out loud, that I want to build my life to become such that I'm able to spend a significant portion of the year on the coast. That's what I want. Now, I don't have a timeline attached to this. I don't know exactly when, but I know that it's going to happen. You know how I know it's going to happen? Because it's something that I want, and I trust that me leaning into that want will help me develop. It will help me become more of who I am. So what are some of those things that I'd have to do, some of the actions I'd have to take to make that happen? I'd have to have things arranged with my business so that I could work from anywhere. I would have to make sure that finances are in order to be able to afford it, right? I would have to have arrangements for children, for schooling, for all the activities that they're in. I'd have to be able to make sure that that works for them, because that's also a priority of mine, to make sure that my kids are thriving. And so sorting out what that would look like, right? I have to believe that it's possible. And you know what? I'm telling you right now, one of these days you're going to hear me talk on this podcast, and I'm going to tell you that I made it happen. I guarantee it. It's coming. I just know that it's going to happen. I believe it. I don't know exactly when. I don't have a really tight timeline because of the nature of my family right now, with multiple children at home and high school and junior high school. But it's coming. It's something that's going to happen. And I love thinking about the person that I need to become to make that a reality for me and for my family. Okay. So that desire that I'm talking about is more than just like this fleeting thought of, oh, yeah, that sounds really nice. It's lasting. I trust that it serves a higher purpose in me. And it can totally be a physical thing. Okay. It can be something physical that you want. I just want you to check your reason why you want it. Okay. So, for example, sometimes we want things and our egos are there to think, oh, I want this thing so that other people think X, Y, and Z about me. I want them to think that I'm really put together. I want them to think that I look good. I want them to think that I make a lot of money, right? Check those. Okay. Why do you want it? How do you think it will make you feel? Why do you want those people to think those things about you, right? Like, what will that do for you if those people think those things about you? And again, we can't control what anybody thinks anyway. But why do you need that? Why are you thinking that you need them to think those things? So check those things. If it's coming from a place of lack, if it's coming from a place of insecurity, when you do have the thing, it's not going to land the way that you think it will. It's not going to magically make you feel more secure. You'll think it will, and then you'll have that thing and you won't be able to feel it. And the reason why you won't be able to receive it fully, because you still have that unworked out insecurity within yourself. Okay. When we do things out of want, when we want things and go pursue them out of love for ourselves, out of honoring who we are and honoring the things that we want, the receiving of it becomes a very different experience. Okay. Now, I want to talk a little bit about a concept that I learned from one of my coaches, Brooke Castillo. She did a podcast a while back on her podcast, the Life Coach School podcast. And she made up this concept that I've thought about a lot. It's called the want match concept. And what that is that we all have like our list of wants. We all have the things that we want, and we have a list of them. And oftentimes what we do is we have this list and we say, spouse, these are all the things that I'm going to need for you for me to feel secure here. Okay. What if they don't want to do it? What if there's things that your spouse just is not interested in doing? I'm going to give you a couple examples. Okay. One is I've always loved to travel. I'm a pretty adventurous person. I love going to new places. I love meeting new people and hearing their stories. I love traveling to foreign countries. Like when I was 17, I was a foreign exchange student in Germany, lived with a German family. I loved it. That's part of who I am. So part of what I want is to continue to travel. I want to go see different places I've never been before. And while it might be nice to think of my husband as my travel buddy and companion who just would love to come with me, and just, of course, he just would want to be with me for all these adventures that go on. Guess what? My husband's kind of a homebody. He'll come with me on some of the trips, but he's probably not going to be interested in going with me on all the different trips that I want to go on. Now, I could make that a problem, and I could make him wrong, and I could judge him, and I could think that maybe I married the wrong guy because he doesn't care about X, Y, and Z. But there is another way to look at it. What if I could find somebody else who wants the same thing? What if I could find a group of friends that also love to travel? and we can make our plans together. That is a want match. That is a match. If I have a want, I want to do this with somebody else, and I find somebody else to do this with. What about wanting like a clean house? Okay. I can want my kids to fall in line and be perfect about all of their chores and really do a great job. I could want my husband to, like I said before, do the dishes 3 times a week. I could want him to do all the laundry. I could have all these things that I want. But guess what? Sometimes he won't want to do it. There's times where he just won't want to, where he'll say, you know what, there's other things I'd rather do. So I can get upset and I can get mad, or I can figure out how to make that a match. I can work a little bit harder to bring in a little more income and hire somebody to do all of those things, right? I can find my own solution to it and not hang my own happiness or satisfaction on if that is done on him, right? I'd be waiting a long time in some cases. Another thing that has happened in my own marriage is that I've probably mentioned before that my husband, he has multiple things that he's involved in work-wise, but one of the main things is that we have different farms. We have 3 different farms, and he's very busy right now because it's still harvest season. But earlier on in our marriage, he loved for me to come like right on the tractors and go, you know, all over the place where he was running errands and getting the different things that he needed. And he loved me to go with him. And I enjoyed it too, until I didn't, until I thought, you know, there's other things that I want to use my time for. And this is before I became a coach. There's other things that I would like to do. There's other places that I'd like to spend time, particularly when my kids were at school. And so I started saying no. And he would ask me, hey, do you want to run with me here? He liked my company. Can you blame him? I'm fun to be around, right? But I would start to say, no, I've got other things that I want to do today. And he might have been disappointed and like, oh, bummer. I really want her to come along. And I could let him be disappointed, and it's okay. I don't have to solve for that. I don't have to make it better for him, right? I got to honor myself. And the beautiful thing is that when I do go with him, he knows darn well I want to be there. And I know darn well I want to be there. I'm choosing it, right? I'm choosing to go be with him because I want to be, not because I have this expectation on me that I need to do this. Okay. All right. I want to touch a little bit on the 5 Love Languages book. Okay. It's very popular. People love it. And I want to talk about it a little bit. Okay. I think that there's a lot of good in this book. It's good to understand yourself, to know what makes you tick, to know the things that matter to you, to know the things that matter to your spouse, right? It does matter. It's good to know. It's good to know well the people that you live with, to really understand them, right? Here's the thing though. The problem with this is that we often will take the things that are our love languages and hand it over and say, okay, these are the things I need you to do for me to feel loved. This is so transactional. It doesn't work, because sometimes that person doesn't feel comfortable doing those things. Sometimes it's really like so far out of their realm of what they want to give in a relationship that they might resent feeling like I have to do this or she's going to be mad at me. And then I promise you, if it's coming from this place of lack in you, you will not receive it the way that you think you will. So this is what I recommend. I want you to think about 2 business partners. Okay, they're forming this business. They are both very good at what they do. They both know what they're good at. Let's say that one of them brings really good sales and people skills. They're really good at talking to people. They're very good at connecting with people. Okay. The other person is a great inventor of a product. They know how to produce it. They know how to tweak it and make it better. That is a match, right? The one person is the brains behind the actual product, and the other person is the brains behind getting that product sold. They both bring their own unique skills to make something better than what they could do on their own, right? They could each go into business on their own. They could, and have some success, but they're bringing their skills together, the things that they're good at. They're bringing them together and they're making this thing that's better than what they could do on their own. That is what I recommend when it comes to needs and wants, okay? That you are already starting from a place of sufficiency, that you want things, just like this business partnership. They don't need the other person. They don't have to have that other person, right? They can still be successful without them, but they're like, hey, let's put our brains together and make something better. Okay, that's what can happen in a relationship. We can bring our own whole self to a relationship and say, hey, this is what I have to give. I'm so happy to give this here. What do you have to give? Perfect. Let's make something better. Let's make something amazing together. Now, something that has happened in my marriage is my husband's a pretty laid back, pretty easygoing guy. And he sometimes gets bugged with me because I'll want to have talks and I'll want to talk about ways that I think that we can become better, ways that we can grow. And he'll be like, well, I'm just happy. Like, I'm just happy. And I'm like, I'm happy too. But it doesn't mean that I can't want more for us. And I've said to him, I think if we work on these things, like if we work on expressing our wants and needs more clearly and seeing where we want to accommodate each other, right? If we work on communicating, if we work on these other things that I just feel like we could grow in, we could knock it right out of the park, right? Yeah, we already have a good marriage. Why not go for great, right? And so that comes from expressing and telling the truth about what I want and what I need, and not leaving it to him, but communicating it and seeing where we're a match, okay? So to wrap things up, I want to ask you, how can you grow in meeting your own needs and validating yourself? That's number one. Number two, I want you to actually sit down and make a list of all of your wants. I want you to write them out. I want you to spend time asking yourself with each thing that you write down, why do you want them? Really dig deep. Why do you want them? And I want you to ask, do I like my reason? Okay. If it's a yes, move on to the next step. The next step is looking at how that can be a match. How can I accomplish that? How can I give that to myself? Is this something that I'm asking of my spouse? Is he willing to give it to me? Is there somebody else that can do this with me? Okay. And I want to say it goes on the flip side too. I want to just throw this in there. So many of my clients feel hurt because their spouses, in one way or another, blame them for the choices that they have made by stepping out of the marriage. Well, you didn't do this for me. You didn't do this for me. And what I want to say to you is that it was never your job to do those things. It was never your job. We don't owe anybody anything. We really don't, okay? You don't owe your spouse anything. The best marriages come when we want to be there, when we want to give the things that we do from a place of love. You don't owe anything, and it's not an excuse. You not having sex, multiple times a week with them, or you not making dinner the way they want, or whatever it is that is said to you, does not mean, oh, you're not meeting my needs, so I have to go get them met elsewhere. That's coming from an insecure place where they're looking for validation, okay? So I want to remind you, you're worthy of having both your wants and your needs met. You are worthy of not just surviving, but also thriving. I want you to ask, what are the things that make me feel alive? What are they? Go do them. Do more of them without waiting for permission, without waiting for someone to make it happen for you. Make it happen for yourself. That is how self-trust is built. You showing up for you, you advocating for you, you getting what you want for you, because you matter. The things that you want matter. Just make sure you like your reasons for wanting them, okay? And don't do yourself the disservice of handing it to somebody else. Why should you give it to somebody else? You are fully capable of figuring out, problem solving, how to get your needs and wants met. Yes, we bring in other people because it enriches our experience, but we don't have to wait around for someone to give it to us, okay? You are worth it. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. I love you. I hope you all have a wonderful week. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.
Thank Thank you for listening to the Heal from Infidelity podcast. If you would like to be kept in the know about upcoming free classes, new podcast episodes, and other ways of working with me, go subscribe to my weekly email. You can subscribe at AndreaGiles.com/lies-about-infidelity/. Again, it's AndreaGiles.com/lies-about-infidelity/. I will see you next time.